I'm Beth Swinek. I'm the manager of Tagawa Gardens. Tagawa Gardens is located at 7711 South Parker Road, Centennial, Colorado. We've had a Gray Kitty mascot tradition since 1987 at Tagawa Gardens. Our Gray Kitty mascots have always done PR for us. They appear in our advertising. They are just our goodwill ambassadors, I guess. They greet people when they come in. And it just makes it a warm fuzzy for everybody. We had the Dumb Friends League here with their adoption van for our 20th anniversary celebration. Well, our office manager, Sherry, went out to the Dumb Friends League van and saw this lovely Smokey, was the name of the kitty, 2 years old, and we absolutely fell in love with him. He reached his paw out of the cage and wanted to have his belly rubbed. We invited Mr. Tagawa to come out and see him. He fell in love with him, and he came to live with us, and the rest is kind of history. By the 1st of September of 2009, Mr. Tagawa noticed him that he was a little lethargic, and he began limping on one of his back legs, and he started missing the litter box. So we took him over to Dr. Lauterbach at Mission Viejo Veterinary Clinic on September 3rd of 2009. They couldn't find anything, and then on the 8th of September, Dr. Lauterbach referred Smokey Grey to VRCC and to Dr. Lane.
Yeah, my name's Dr. Steve Lane. I'm a board-certified neurologist in veterinary medicine. I am one of the owners of the Veterinary Referral Center of Colorado in Englewood, Colorado. Smokey came to us because he had roughly a 2-month history of progressive weakness and wobbliness or ataxia in the back end or the pelvic limbs. Smokey was not painful. He continued to try to please everybody, and he was a very big cat, 16 to 18 pounds. But his dysfunction progressed to the point where he couldn't get around, and he was falling and dragging his rear legs when he came to see us. Point we saw him, he was not walking, but moving his back legs. This led us to know where his problem was. It didn't tell us what it was, but it led us to know that it was what we call a T3L3 myelopathy. So the next step was to diagnose his problem definitively, and that's where magnetic resonance imaging came in. With the use of the technology with MRI, we were able to see the spinal cord, we're able to see all the soft tissues around the spinal cord, and we're actually able to look inside the spinal cord. By doing so, we were able to identify and diagnose a tumor coming from the meninges, which are the coverings of the spinal cord, that was growing inside the meninges, which is like the covering of a hot dog. So Smokey had a tumor that was growing inside his coverings with no way to get out and only to grow and crush the spinal cord inside of it.
Well, I think we were happy to know what it was, but it was really scary. And Mr. Tagawa never hesitated as to, well, you know, is this operable? Let's go through with an operation, and it was.
In Smokey's case, the tumor sat in a location that lended itself to surgical intervention. And so surgery was the directed course of action.
As soon as Dr. Lane was out of surgery, he called us to tell us what he had found. And he described it as a golf ball in a stick of soft butter, and that he was able to just pop it out. And it came right out. There was he didn't see any residual. I mean, the whole thing just literally popped out when he opened up his spine. But he felt very confident that the surgery would be very successful and it wasn't malignant.
Meningiomas are a tumor. People have difficulty with terminology with cancer. Cancer is cancer, whether it's benign or malignant. Meningiomas tend to be a benign tumor. They arise from one layer of the meninges. We call it the arachnoid membrane. We think the meningiomas come from cells that have sat there their whole life, what we call arachnoid rest cells. And for some reason, genetics, other factors, these cells start to replicate and the tumor slowly grows. The key is it grows slowly. So most animals, just like people, are able to adapt or compensate for this slow growing mass. The tumor usually in cats does not invade the spinal cord. It just gets bigger and pushes the cord out of the way. You know, he was on a little bit of painkillers and things, but he was still Smokey.
He would try to roll over. We didn't want him to roll over on his back, so we would, be petting him. And
24 hours after surgery, Smokey was rolling on his back and wanting to be petted. 36 to 48 hours after surgery, Smokey was walking and rolling outside on the grass. 36 hours after surgery, Smokey went home. Smokey is now ambulatory. He is nearly normal neurologically. He has some very subtle deficits in his right rear leg, but you would never know it unless you tested him. But Smokey is able to walk, jump, run, play, and he is pain-free. So quality of life is excellent.
The moment after the surgery and we saw he was there was Smokey. It was so well worth it. Makes me cry. It's been years. It's been 2 years now, but still, it was very emotional. Yeah, he's back to normal, better than normal, probably. Mr. Tagawa is very grateful to Dr. Lane that he was able to perform that surgery and provide a long and healthy life for Smokey Grey. And now he's got a great prognosis for the rest of his long life.
Smokey Grey is a very fortunate cat because he came from multiple loving people at the gardens. So Smokey had more than one true owner, and so to speak. The bond, the human-animal and animal-human bond is phenomenal in cases such as Smokey, and Mr. Tagawa and the whole group there demonstrated that. They were there for Smokey. They were there during his rehabilitation. They were there to take care of him after he went home. Dedicated owners are necessary in the recovery of these cases, and certainly that was provided to Smokey.